Welcome everybody back to the Lantern Sports Basketball Show with myself, Kevin Lapka, to my right, Matt Goldman, to my left, Casey Smith. Ohio State Hoops starts off 3-0. A little bit of a shaky first two games, but they bounced back last night against Bowling Green, Monday night. Casey, what you've seen from the first three games, what you liked, what you didn't like. How you feeling about Ohio State Hoops after three?
After the first two, E.J. Liddell, he proved himself as the emerging star and really the tone setter for this offense, scoring 25 and then setting a career high with 29 against Niagara, Kevin. And it's going to go through him. Justice Suing, him being injured, is definitely going to hinder this offense because he was supposed to have a little bit more of a ball handling and scoring role with this offense. Chris Holtman said that preseason, but with him going down with a groin injury, there's no real timetable for his return. E.J. Liddell, unfortunately, they're going to put the weight on his shoulders. He's going to have to carry this offense. But last night, it was sort of a balanced attack against Bowling Green. There were 5 different guys in double figures, Kevin, and they really got it done on all facets of the game. And it was sort of like they didn't even have to break a sweat. They jump out to an 11-0 run to start the game, and from there it was smooth sailing to a 41-point win.
Yeah, I'm going to reiterate your point quickly about E.J. Liddell, as advertised, one of the best players in the conference, consistently in double figures so far. But what I've liked from the first three games is we're seeing Ohio State's depth off the bench and their young talent. Malachi Branham, Michi Johnson, Zed Key continue to flash, continue to shine in these 3 wins versus Akron, Niagara, and Bowling Green. So Ohio State off to a good start so far. I don't see as that much cause concern in the first 2 games with tight games against some lower level opponents, I just think that they're getting used to it. It's the beginning of the season. It's been a while since they played, and that they're eventually going to get good, and they're almost getting healthy.
Well, the thing is, it's a young team overall, and then you look at 2 starters who are transfers, so naturally those things take time to create chemistry. I mean, that's just, no matter whether you have guys who are transfers, younger players or not, the start of a season, there's always things to work out. It's your first time in game action. I don't care the level of the opponent. The first time you're out on the floor in front of the fans against an actual opponent that's not your teammates in a scrimmage, it's going to be difficult. You see that with majority of teams at the beginning of the year, so I don't think it's a lot to worry about, but...
Yeah, to your point, Kevin, Chris Holtman's been reiterating this time and time again that the young guys, they're going to make mistakes. And it was odd enough, last night in the post game, he said, I want them to make mistakes. He was like, oh, coach, you sound crazy. He was like, but his point was that he wants them to make mistakes so they can learn in game. That way, once the Big Ten schedule comes, they'll be able to have that figured out and be able to run this offense like they know how. And just with Xavier coming up, it's going to be definitely a tough road test. Holtman was talking about the rivalry between Butler and Xavier that he knows really well, just the Cintas Center and the environment there, and just how tough that is to go there and play. So it'll definitely be a test, especially for those young guys to be able to overcome that adversity.
Yeah, so Casey mentions Xavier on Thursday, November 18th, and they got Seton Hall on Monday, November 22nd. Matt, looking at these next 2 games, seeing what they did in the first 3, what do they need to do to capture 2 wins coming up?
Well, starting off with Xavier, they have a double duo in Paul Scruggs and Colby Jones that average 20 and 18 points per game. Fantastic duo between those two. And Xavier's really talented. They haven't really been tested too much so far. They played a Niagara team, a similar opponent. They only won by 63-60, a 3-point margin there. Ohio State did have a tight game as well, but as you talked to Niagara, they said it was just some turnovers and some points at the end that they missed on free throws, so that Ohio State's going to watch that film and see that Xavier does struggle within the low post, that Niagara was able to have some success in also against Ohio State. And then Seton Hall, a really good opponent, they have 8 players above 8 points per game. Their depth off the bench is really fantastic, and this is a really good team. They're going to be testing against Michigan and then Ohio State. So Ohio State's going to have a hard time going against this depth, especially with Miles Cale, 13 points per game and 6.5 rebounds a game.
Yeah, for sure. You mentioned that game down in Fort Myers against Seton Hall. It's definitely going to be a test for Ohio State's defense, which has been a struggle going back to last season and into this season as well. It's been sort of that you have an elite offense at the top with E.J. Liddell, now Zed Key emerging, and Justin Arns from behind the three-point line. But how are they going to respond on defense and be able to create turnovers, force guys to have to take perimeter shots? Because there's not a lot of teams that are going to be shooting the ball like Oral Roberts in that NCAA tournament. So they were shooting the lights out. So you force them outside, don't let them get down low. How are they going to be able to do that against Seton Hall to sort of limit those scorers that you were talking about, Matt? That's a big thing.
Yeah, so Ohio State faces a couple of tests coming up. Xavier, like I said, Thursday, November 18th, then Seton Hall, Monday, November 22nd, then Duke, number 7th ranked Duke. After that, that'll be the big test. So a big 3 games coming up for Ohio State basketball. We'll have the coverage for you here at Lantern TV. For myself, for Casey, for Matt, that'll do it for the show. We'll see you guys next time.